Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's Dave coming to you from the Dogyard here in Southern Maryland. It's Friday afternoon, probably like 4 o'clock, 75 degrees, slight breeze, perfect. It's been a little bit hotter today. We hit about 80, but we got a storm coming in. In fact, you can see it back behind me here. Those dark gray clouds, that's where the storms come from here. That's looking kind of northwest. And almost all our weather, when we get weather, comes in from the northwest. If we get something that comes up the coast in the winter, then we really get hammered. But almost all our weather comes from the Appalachians, northwest. So we are smoking today my now famous the Perdomo 30th anniversary punch cut perfectly. Looking forward to this. Haven't done a cigar in a while. We'll talk about that in a minute. So we'll do the Friday dog roundup. There's Sasha being kind of calm, and then right here at my left knee is Finn being a cow. Look at Chance. I got something to tell you. Got an update on Chance too. And then stand out there in the middle, practicing her cow techniques, is Echo. Scooch, as I call her. Finn is Nib Nib, as I call him. I don't really have a nickname for that boy. Look how happy he looks. There's one happy dog. We've rejuvenated Chance. I'll tell you about that in a minute. She just loves being a cow. She loves this spring grass. And then not being able to leave well enough alone, here comes the bandit, or the terrorist as I call her. She wants to be a cow. Oh, wait, here comes Chance. Look at a big old dog smile. Yeah, you're a happy dog, aren't you? You feel way better, don't you? Good boy. All right, that's a minute and a half of dog roundup. She's lit all perfect. You ever smoke a cigar, a blend, and think maybe you have it ranked wrong? These are in my honorable mention 4. They didn't make my top 10, but I got to rethink that. It's a really nice cigar. Super mild. You're not going to get any spice or kick with this. Just a nice, smooth, mild taste. I've never had a bad one. They punch great. They burn fantastic. I got to go back and look at my top 10 list now. Well, weather update. Maryland, most of Maryland, like 20 of our 24 counties have been declared a national disaster area because of our drought. I didn't even know we were in one. But our county and the county just north of us where our horse farm is both in the declared area. So my wife tells me I'm an idiot because her garden is burned up and the horse pastures are drier than they should be in April. Normally March, April, and a little bit into May is sort of our wet season, and we're heading into our dry season, as dry as I've seen it in a long time. When I first moved here back in 91, we had a few years where it didn't rain from April to September, and God, we may get something like that this year. So hopefully that brings us some rain tonight. It's only predicted to rain for about 2 hours, but my wife's garden needs it and our horse farm needs it, so hopefully it rains. So we start out with a Chance update. So we had a family member, Anne-Marie's brother, has a 15-year-old golden retriever, and she does pretty good. She's a little bit frail now at 15, but she's doing great. And they said several years ago they started her on CBD oil, and so I went online and bought. I looked at a bunch of places, but I bought CBD oil for joint and pain for dogs, and we started giving it to him with his breakfast Easter morning. So he's put an eyedropper in every meal now, morning and night. And now he's, what is this, day 5, day 6? He's like a transformed dog. It's crazy how much that CBD oil changed Chance. He is, better living through chemistry, as they say. But it's truly amazing how much better he feels today than he did on Saturday, Sunday. So we're glad for it, and we're going to keep him on it every day until he goes. Let's get a little play in here for you. These two dogs love each other. It's so good to see. They both freak out when we get home from the paddock. Hey! Well, the wind's picking up. We might have cut this short a little bit tonight. Amory's overriding Cooper. And see, we had one of our clients' horses isn't holding his shoe very well. He wears front shoes only, but his one hoof, the hoof walls don't like to hold the shoe now. So he's been wearing a bent shoe for a few days with it all wrapped up in essentially what is a diaper. But we got a farrier coming over. That's what we call horseshoe guys. So the farrier's coming over at 5 tonight. So Amory wants to be there, make sure it gets done right. So where the hell have I been these last 5 days or whatever it's been? So the answer is last Friday. I didn't know I was going to do this, so I probably would have mentioned it, but I went on a caffeine fast. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know why, I just didn't feel like drinking coffee too much on Friday. And then on Saturday, I just decided I wasn't going to drink any caffeine at all. So I had like half a cup Friday morning. And I'm a 4 mugger a day kind of guy. And I just went cold turkey. And that was fine on Friday, Saturday, and Easter. But come Monday, after, I guess that was the 4th day, boy, I got these skull crushing headaches, which I knew was going to happen. If you're going to go no caffeine, you're supposed to wean yourself off. Not this dummy. Nope, I went cold turkey, and boy, did I pay the price. But so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, just skull crushing headaches. And they came on about 4 o'clock, which is usually when I'm out here. And I tried to do one Monday night, and the cigar didn't taste good. My drink didn't taste good. I couldn't finish the cigar. I couldn't finish the drink. And I just didn't feel like getting on camera. So, and then I kind of felt the same way Tuesday, Wednesday. Yesterday was a little bit better. And then today I actually feel pretty good. Now, I used to do this every year. Every year I'd take a couple weeks, sometimes a month, and just go caffeine free and let it just get it out of my body. And I have not done it now. I sold the company 6.5 years ago, and I probably hadn't done it for a year or two before that. So it's been 7 or 8 years since I did it. So I was an uber caffeine consumer. I drink several cups of coffee every day, and then I'd throw in a Red Bull, and I just got my body completely saturated and dependent on it. Now, make no mistake, I like my brain on caffeine, but I have to get it out. I have to wash it clean every now and then. So, am I going to have a cup of coffee tomorrow? Maybe. For me, it's not a matter of needing it. Now it's just a matter of, do I want a cup of coffee? So, will I be back here in a couple of days and I'm still doing it? I have no idea. But I do know caffeine's not overly good for me. It's terrible for blood pressure and things like that. So this is good to have gotten it out of my body. But boy, did I pick an ugly way to do it. So anyway, that's where I've been. I've been here doing what I do. My days have been normal days. But once 4 o'clock got here, I just didn't feel like doing anything on camera. So and it's messed up my sleep pretty bad. So the last couple of nights have been better. So now that I'm kind of cleansing, it's behind me. I'm not sure if I'm not sure right now the memories of the headaches are good enough that strong enough that I'm not in a rush to get it back in my system. That's for sure. But anyway, that's where I've been. I just want to say, I know it's been several days, and anyway, I know gaps are noticed, so I decided to say it, let you know what I've been doing. So that's Sasha. She can almost get down in her hole net. Look how big she's got it. She's digging down in there. This top of her butt sticking out. She's a digger, that's for sure. So my daughter Lauren graduates in 13 days. It's crazy. And a week from tomorrow, Anne-Marie's going to head down and spend a week with her. They've got like a Sunset Beach photo session set up. My wife set up for them. So they can, so this can be like a graduation photo session. Lauren, her boyfriend, and a bunch of their friends from school. So it should be a nice night for them. And then they graduate Thursday afternoon and they have to be out of the dorm Saturday morning, 9 a.m. So Anne-Marie's going to help her pack the car, pack shipping crates and ship stuff home, give away stuff that she doesn't want to bring home. So pretty cool. So yeah, we're a week away from Anne-Marie heading down there, and graduation week will begin, which is just insane to me that our baby, who's 22, is graduating from college. Kind of hard to believe. It seems so close to the day she left and we became empty nesters. That's been over 3.5 years ago already. So it'd be nice to have her in the house for a while. Don't know how long. See how long it takes her to find a job or find where she wants to go next. But I imagine she'll be back home for a few months. That'll be nice. I know Anne-Marie's over the moon with that thought. And Lauren made an interesting comment. She called me on the phone the other night and said she can't wait to get back to the animals. She misses the dogs. 4 dogs. Ranger makes 5. Her horse Cooper. She's got 2 parakeets that she's raised from when they were little. They still live in her room. So for 3.5 years, she's had hardly any access to animals. So she said, I can't wait to get home and spend time with everybody again. That's kind of cool. It's nice to hear. So I don't know if you guys are following Corvette Jim's adoption program, but I actually adopted his that little Dunhill pot, and it got here right away. I've had it for days, but I actually spent time with it today. It took me 2 hours to clean it. I don't know if Jim ever smoked it, but it had been smoked a lot, and there was so much cake in there. I was cleaning it and reaming it, cleaning it and reaming it. Man, yeah, I got it down to the bare briar though, so the mouthpiece is all cleaned, and so I actually had it so clean I had to smoke it. And I put some of that Cornell and Deal Dark Fire Kentucky in it, and it's a tiny little nose warmer, and that tobacco is so harsh in that little pipe. I couldn't believe the difference from that giant meerschaum with that churchwarden stem to that little tiny nose warmer pot. It was horrible. I was shocked. So I've got to try it with an aromatic now and see. The pipe's not ghosted in any way. There's no other taste, but I was shocked at how, because you guys know I don't experiment with pipes much. I smoke my meerschaum here and I smoke my meerschaum in Wyoming. And those are what I'm used to. And they have a much smaller hole. You can barely get a pipe cleaner through it. And so like the pot that I bought from him had a giant draft hole. And the draft was amazingly clear. But wow, was it harsh. The fire being so close to your mouth. There's no time for it to cool down, and it just was a much harsher smoke. So it was it was a good lesson for me to learn that it is truly one tobacco and different pipes can be a completely different experience. So you're all yelling at the phone like, no shit, Sherlock. But that was my first experience of doing a side by side of really experiencing the difference. Anyway, the pipe came clean. It's beautiful. I need to deoxidize the mouthpiece, but other than that, it's a nice little thing to have in the collection. I only had one other Dunhill. I have a birth pipe, 1964 birth pipe from Dunhill that I bought off eBay a couple years ago. Frankly, that just sits up on the shelf on the rack. But I like the idea of having a couple more Dunhill. Why? I have no idea. So anyway, that's why I picked it up from him. So I appreciate it, Jim. Nice acquisition, nice addition to the pipe rack there on the wall in the paddock. Probably won't smoke it too much. Got to find something that's not so harsh in it. Boy, am I glad I'm in Maryland for April. At the Wyoming house, there's still a foot or two of snow on the ground. I can see it on the cameras. I don't remember being that much snow on the ground before as we head into May. Usually by May 1st, we're pretty much snow free. And we're still getting storm warnings and road closures and slush warnings and low visibility warnings. Wow. That's just cements what a great decision it was to get home, spend spring here. Coming up on 6 weeks being here now. And I am starting to miss Wyoming, so probably about a month out, another 4 or 5 weeks, and we'll head back to Wyoming. But anyway, boy, am I glad I'm here. Remind me that if I talk about spending April in Wyoming, you guys tell me what a dumb idea that would be. So Amory's new horse trailer gets delivered tomorrow afternoon. So I think tomorrow's video might be from the farm, or at least part of it. I'll show you the new horse trailer. It'd be kind of nice to have that one behind us. That was a big one. Get those 2 trailers traded in and get the new one delivered and license plated and registered and all that. It'll all be done tomorrow. So it'll be a huge project behind us. It took me longer than I thought it would. I mean, it was amazing that he had the exact model we wanted sitting on his lot. But to get the deal started, it took me almost a month. Once we got it rolling, it only took a couple of weeks. But God, everyone's so slow to call back now. And then the you probably don't care category, Harry homeowner, my Anne-Marie's mom's roof needs to be replaced. And I think our side of the deal was being wishy-washy about it, so they asked me to take over. And so we got the roof leak fixed that day, and Tuesday the new roof gets put on. So that'll be another big one to have behind us. Everyone talks about inflation, and I've had 2 financial events this last few weeks. The new trailer we bought was probably $20,000 more than I expected it to be. Because I haven't bought a trailer since 2015. So in the 10 years, now I sound like an old man, but God, 10 years ago the trailer was 50 grand. Now, the guy's list price was like 70 something. That's not what we paid for it. We've done enough business with him. He knocked like 10 grand off right away, but that was a pretty expensive trailer. Then my mom's roof, or Anne-Marie's mom's roof, is a really simple, it's a simple 2-level roof, one side, 2-sided, no gables, no dormers, no steep pitches, and a roof that would have cost $7,000 10 years ago is $16,000 now. So 2 examples of inflation, kind of in my face this last week. So I don't think I've told you that story before. Hey, look, there's Scooch. That's her in higher alert mode. She heard something in the neighbor's house, so she's sitting up looking out the fence. So my wife, a week ago, maybe a couple more days, ask the question, hey, where do you want to live when we get old? I mean, it's a shocking question for my wife because she has been, there I go. Chan's on high alert now. That's a big topic for my wife because I always thought it'd be something that we couldn't really talk about, and for her to bring it up, man, it really surprised me. But it brings up, it's a huge question to try to answer. So I started doing some research on it little by little, and one thing that's important to me is that we end up living in a state full time that doesn't have inheritance or estate taxes. And it turns out when you search, there's 33 states, including California. I couldn't believe it. 33 states in the United States charge no inheritance tax or estate tax. You can pass on your entire estate without state taxes in 33 states. So we have a lot of don'ts. We don't want to live here. We don't want to live there. But one do. She really wants. She's We've spent some time in the last, over the last 15 years in Charleston, South Carolina, and I think she wants to investigate very, very seriously moving to a small town in South Carolina, maybe Charleston itself, down on the Old Town on the peninsula. It's a great town, but she also wants us to look at, I think she said Beaumont, but a huge part of the decision is where do our kids end up. Denver's, I think, is a fairly permanent, at least long-term home for Sean, so there's one, but who knows where Lauren's going to go. It was just an interesting question to have to sit and ponder. Where do you want to grow old? And she doesn't mean now at 61. She means like in 10, 15, 20 years. So, when 70, 75, 80 years old, where do you want to be? Because we'll probably move to Wyoming and live in the Wyoming house as our primary residence in a few years. Um, but her point was that's so remote, so far from anything, that when you're 75 or 80, do you want to be there permanently? And the answer is probably no. So maybe that'll be our home half the year, and we'll turn into snowbirds. Half the year in Wyoming and half the year in Charleston or something like that. So for some reason, she's pretty dead set against Arizona right now. And I'm trying to make the case for the mountains of Arizona because it's really easy to get to Denver and really easy to get to California, which is where I think Lauren's going to end up. But I could be really wrong. Anyway, this is a years-long decision, years of investigation, and when we kind of, if it is Charleston, we'll need to, rent a house or rent a 2-bedroom apartment for a year and actually see how much time we spend down there. And while we're there, do we really like it enough to be there? But anyway, I just thought it was an interesting question. I don't know if any of you have ever had to ponder, where do you want to grow old? I know Jim has talked about it. Corvette Jim has talked about it a lot. He's sick of the winters where he lives, but his sons live there. So I'm curious to see where he ends up, because when his mom's gone and that chain comes off him, he's talked about moving south. It'd be interesting to see, Jim, if you pull the trigger and go south and leave your family, or if you stay up there and find a more appropriate place for you to live. I don't know. Anyway, I just never heard anybody talk about it. I don't know if any of you have ever had to go through that decision process, but we're at the very beginning. Step one. Well, an old farmer told me once that you're in a drought when all signs fail, and this is a really good example. Look, it's cleared up, and winds died down. I've got puffy white, blue sky with puffy white clouds up there. So looks like the rain might miss us again. Anyway, it took me a while to figure out, because I would think I was like 25 or 30 when the guy told me that. Made no sense to me. But now, as an old man who's watched it here a bunch, I get it. All signs fail, and there's a sign that failed. We had a huge rain, huge storm cloud right there, and it's gone now. So anyway, guys, I think that's it. We're up on 25 minutes. That's long enough. I'm down to a nub, and so we're gonna let's call it a video here. So it's good to be back. Probably do another video tomorrow. Show you the new trailer. That's really it, guys. So hope you had a great week. Hope you got a good weekend in front of you. You know, Beans 316 is gonna be out on that boat this weekend. I know he took her out for her maiden voyage this year already. All right, guys. May God bless your lives. May He bless the lives of those around you. May He turn His ear towards your prayers. May He make His face shine upon you. May He bless your lives as well as He's been blessing mine. That's it, you guys. Thanks. Have a great evening. Good night, everybody.